Storm prepares for a press conference as a voiceover reflects on her extraordinary journey. Once a thief, an orphan, an X-Man, a queen of Wakanda, even an Avenger. Now, to humanity, she is revered as a goddess. In the aftermath of Krakoa's fall, humans and mutants have been cautiously moving toward coexistence. Storm, now the most respected mutant on Earth, is about to address the public on a grave matter. But what led to this moment? The story rewinds to 1 week earlier. A nuclear explosion rocks a power plant in Oklahoma. Storm and Frenzy rush to the scene to save as many lives as possible. The city is devastated, strange shockwaves rippling outward at regular intervals. In the chaos, Storm herself is injured but presses forward to the heart of the disaster, only to discover the source. It isn't an attack, but a terrified young mutant whose powers erupted uncontrollably during adolescence. As his energy lashed out, he sobbed, begging Storm to kill him before he hurt anyone else. She refused. Enough lives had been lost already. She held him close, determined to save him. 3 days later, outrage swept the nation. The public learned that scientists at the plant had been studying the corpse of a dead alien to generate energy, and they assumed that was the cause of the explosion. Though the scientists themselves died in the blast, their grieving families became targets of harassment and violence. Tony Stark investigated the alien body and confirmed the truth. The catastrophe was caused by the mutant child, not the Energy Project. Fearing a resurgence of anti-mutant hatred, Stark told Storm that the choice was hers: stay silent and let mutants remain heroes in the public eye, or reveal the truth to defend the honor of the fallen scientists. Now, in the present day, in Atlanta, Storm addresses the world. She announces the launch of the Storm Sanctuary, a floating refuge for all who need safety: mutants, sorcerers, extraterrestrial immigrants, superhumans, even gods. If you call Earth your home, she declares, this sanctuary will be your home too. But before she opens its doors, Storm makes another announcement. She tells the truth about Oklahoma, that a mutant child, not human science, caused the devastation. Her words are heartfelt, noble, and honest, but they carry a terrible cost. The love humans once showed her as a goddess turns to suspicion. Admiration curdles into fear. On the very day Storm declared herself Earth's protector and nurturer, she unintentionally reignited prejudice, turning mutants once again into targets of public disdain. Far beyond the cosmos, beyond even the boundaries of known existence, Eternity stands in the void and calls out to her, his eternal storm. A day later, in the waters off Nigeria, a cargo ship falls prey to pirates. Storm arrives in a flash, swiftly disarming the attackers and saving the crew. But as she lands on the deck, a sudden, violent cough racks her body, and blood spatters her hand. A sailor rushes forward to offer water, but the captain stops him cold. Though grateful for her help, he orders Storm off his ship. He's seen the Oklahoma news, and the last thing he wants is a mutant aboard, fearing even her presence could ignite the vessel's fuel. Back at the Storm Sanctuary, Ororo realizes something is terribly wrong. She seeks help at the Hospital of Night and Day, a hidden facility that treats only those with superhuman abilities. The attending physician, himself a mutant, delivers grim news: she's suffering from a rare variation of radiation syndrome. There's no medical cure. However, he directs her to someone who might help: Dr. Voodoo, the former Sorcerer Supreme and Master of Necromancy. He warns her to hurry. She has less than 6 hours to live. Storm races to Nigeria to find Jericho Drum, known as the Houngan Supreme, a shaman of unmatched power. As a necromancer, Voodoo not only communes with the dead, but also sees the spirits that hover near those whose time is running out. When Storm arrives, these spirits swarm her like moths to flame. Voodoo strikes a bargain with an ancient spirit to purge every trace of radiation from her cells, and, as part of the deal, to cleanse her of every illness entirely. In that moment, Storm becomes the healthiest living being in the universe. Yet the spirits of death still circle her, as if her fate is not yet hers to command. The price of her healing is steep. Storm must refrain from using her mutant powers for 7 days. Voodoo invites her to join the Strange Academy, to learn the ancient sorcerer's tongue passed down from witches and warlocks. He tells her she carries the blood of Agamotto himself, the very first Sorcerer Supreme. Storm humbly declines, choosing instead to spend her powerless week among family. She travels to the Haven House, where the X-Men, Rogue, Wolverine, and others greet her with open arms. Wherever she goes, whatever title she earns, Storm will always be an X-Man. Here, in the company of her friends, she is safe. She is home. Storm spends her powerless days at the Haven House sparring with Logan. Sometimes he puts her on the mat. Sometimes she returns the favor and gives him a taste of his own medicine. By the 5th day, Their playful rivalry takes a more intimate turn, a wrestling match that ends not on the floor, but in bed. On the sixth day, a massive raven descends from the clouds, its voice deep and commanding. The bird bears a message. Storm has been summoned by God Emperor Doom, ruler of Latveria, Earth's current sorcerer supreme, and self-proclaimed soon-to-be conqueror of the world. He wishes to parley with her on mutant affairs. Storm asks the raven for a ride to Latveria. At first, it refuses, but Ororo has a way of persuading even the proudest messengers. Before departing, she informs Rogue of her decision. Rogue tries to stop her, fearing Doom's intentions, but Storm's resolve is unshakable. If Doom truly means to conquer Earth, they need to understand him, to face him, before it's too late. When Rogue mentions Logan, Storm simply says, "I've chosen my path. I'll walk it to the end." It's no secret that Doom and Storm share a complicated history. Doom admires strength, and Storm embodies it. But today, she is powerless, and the dead spirits begin gathering around her once again, an omen no one can ignore. We hear an echo of Dr. Voodoo's warning. He made a deal with an ancient spirit to save Storm's life, but when her 7 powerless days are over, she will die. In Latveria, Storm bathes and dresses for an audience with Doom. That evening, she arrives at his palace draped in elegance, meeting the monarch across a candlelit table. Doom assures her, "You need not fear. Doom knows what you like." The first course is okra, prepared exactly as her father once cooked it, a subtle gesture that disarms even the weather goddess. But Doom is not here to flatter. He makes his pitch. He wants Storm, and all mutants, to become his people, loyal to his rule when he claims Earth as his own. As dessert is served, Storm's smile fades. She doesn't like it. Doom waves his hand, and soldiers drag in the chef. With cold precision, Doom commands, "Kill him." Suddenly, a knife flies straight at Doom, but he catches it midair without flinching. Storm steps forward and orders him to spare the chef. Doom rises, his cloak sweeping the floor, and the two clash. He taunts her as they fight. She could have flown to Latveria under her own power, yet chose to ride the raven he sent. She could have scattered his soldiers with her winds, but instead resorted to throwing blades. Even the dessert was crafted to delight mutant senses, yet she disliked it. To Doom, that can mean only one thing: Storm has lost her powers. With a snap of his fingers, Doom restores her abilities, insisting that he needs them for the task ahead. But the moment her power surges back, the ancient spirit bound by Voodoo's deal erupts into the room. The spirit declares that Storm has broken their bargain. He saved her life, and now he will claim it, and her entire world next. He impales her before she can react. Storm collapses lifeless on the floor as Doom battles this monstrous threat. In many African cultures, death is not mourned but celebrated, a transformation, not an ending. Storm awakens in a vast white space, where she meets her father. He reminds her, she is a flame that will never go out, the wind that can never be chained. Death is no end, only metamorphosis. The storm of Earth is gone. In her place is born the eternal storm of eternity. An epilogue voice declares, before existence, there was not nothing. That is the greatest lie ever told. Before existence, there was oblivion, a void so absolute that even death itself was absent. But now oblivion waits no more. Back in Latveria, the reborn storm effortlessly crushes the ancient spirit into a sphere and consumes it, much like Sugurigeto devouring cursed spirits in Jujutsu Kaisen. Doom is furious. He warns her that by harboring a demon within herself, she has endangered the people of Latveria. And for that, she will face the wrath of Doom. We shift back 3 billion years, to a time when the universe was still expanding. Inside the dimension of manifestation, a cosmic trial is underway between Oblivion and Eternity. Oblivion argues that as the universe grows, the void contracts, leaving no room for him and his sister, Death. He demands that Eternity house Death alongside his own twin, Infinity. The living tribunal decrees that the dispute will be settled through trial by combat. Eternity selects Eternal Madness as his champion. Oblivion fights personally. He needs no champion. This is not their first duel, nor their last. They have fought dozens of times, and Oblivion has prevailed just as many. Around Oblivion's waist hangs a belt of 12 skulls, the remains of every champion Eternity has ever sent against him. This battle is no different. Oblivion wins swiftly, and as a result, Death becomes part of the universe itself. This is how death became a concept within the Marvel multiverse. Now, in the present, Doom faces the same ultimate end, because Storm is possessed by none other than Eternity himself. Doom boasts that no one can defeat him, but a mere snap of Eternity's fingers freezes him in place. Eternity declares, before your planet, before your sun, before humanity itself, I have known defeat. And now, Victor Von Doom, you shall taste humility from my hands. Yet in the next panel, Doom calmly sits at dinner, Doombot's repairing his shattered mansion around him. He looks Eternity in the eye and says, if you expect me to beg and grovel, you have gravely mistaken whose presence you are in. If you expect me to fear you, then you do not know whose body you have taken possession of. Storm will not allow you to take the life of an unarmed man. If you try, she will reassert herself. And this is why Doom is one of my favorite characters. In the very next panel, Eternity replies, you know my host well, Victor Von Doom. Very well. It seems you have escaped certain death. And Doom responds with peak arrogance, it is death who evades my wrath. Bro is the ultimate aura farmer. This is Doom's ego at its finest, and what sets him apart from every run-of-the-mill villain in Marvel. We return to the dimension of manifestation, 3 eons after the last trial between Eternity and Oblivion. Oblivion, long deprived of his sister Death, demands her return. Eternity, calm as ever, says he is willing to give Death back, but Oblivion erupts in fury. His form twists into a great serpent, coiling around Eternity, and he roars, your greed knows no bounds, Eternity. You've spent 3 eons expanding without end, shrinking the void to nothing. And now you claim you'll give death to me? Where in my dying realm can I even house my precious sister? Oblivion trembles in agony. I demand a trial for the end of Eternity itself, for the collapse of the universe, so that I may be reunited with Death. But the living Tribunal descends, hammer in hand, and strikes Oblivion to the ground. His voice thunders, the will of the one above all is for the primordials to always remain. Who are you to question that will? Who are you to call for the end of Eternity? Motion denied. Your right to convene another trial is permanently revoked. You shall forever be separated from your twin. All 4 primordials, Eternity, Infinity, Oblivion, and Death, would later deny this event ever occurred. But the one above all saw it. The living Tribunal saw it. And in that moment, proud Oblivion shed a single tear for his sister. The one above all was moved. Existence itself trembled with empathy. The living Tribunal's blue heart turned blood red, and he declared a new trial, one final war between Eternity and Oblivion.
The winner will gain limitless eons of unbound sovereignty, free to house both Infinity and Death. The loser will be struck down, hammered into a speck so barren that not even an atom nor a thought could dwell there. The Tribunal turns to Eternity, who shall be your champion? Who is brave enough to bear the weight of the entire universe, and strong enough to deliver you from Oblivion's grasp? And in that moment, we see Storm, now the Eternal Storm, silently crying in her storm sanctuary. This is where the issue ends. This is where the real cosmic war between Eternity and Oblivion begins. Personally, I loved this run. The pace was wild, Storm went from goddess to pariah in the blink of an eye, and nothing ever slowed down. I like stories that refuse to drag, that hit you hard and fast. What did you think? Should I keep telling this saga, or let it end here?